15. My name is PT, and we can almost drive now. We're 15. We got our learn.
My name is Jonathan, and
Well,
yeah, I guess well, go ahead, Mr.
well,
PT.
I was just gonna say welcome, Jonathan.
All right, well, thank you. Welcome, Mr. Hilton, and welcome all our listeners. We're glad you're
Yes,
here.
welcome to one and all. I was so so the other night I was uh, it was starting to thunderstorm a little bit, and so I decided, I remember my dad used to always do. He would like to go sit in the garage in the thunderstorm, like put the garage door up and just watch the thunderstorm. That was like a big thing for him because he thought it was really fun. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go sit on my porch and watch this thunderstorm. So I went out there and I was sitting there for a little while. And my daughter came with me, and we live kind of like down. There's some pretty tall bluffs like all around us. So I guess because of that, when like the thunder roars, it's crazy loud and it's kind of scary. So the thunder was going, and I was like, you know what? We should probably go inside. Seems like it's pretty violent storm out here. So we went inside, and I was like, God, I wonder if we should have stayed out there or not. Then I read this article today. Let me share this article with you quickly here by way of introduction. This article has a great title. It is called "Lightning Mostly Kills Men Because Men Are Dumb." And it's, and it's a recent study where they went to like find out like the casualties of lightning strike is 80% male versus 20% female, and they're trying to figure out like why that is. And basically that was their conclusion: because men are dumb and do not like come in like situations where they definitely should. So the report says men are most likely to die at the mercy of lightning, as men are, quote, unaware of all the dangers associated with lightning, are more likely to be in vulnerable situations, and are unwilling to be inconvenienced by the threat of lightning, and are in situations that make it difficult to go to the safe place, and don't react quickly to the lightning threat or any combination of these explanations. So that's their theory on why men die 80% of the time compared to women. So
Yeah, I see that because I've actually, it reminds me very, very much of an article I read about rattlesnake bites, where I think it was something like 90% of rattlesnake bites occur to men. And then of that 90%, 95% is alcohol related. So in other words, if you're not a drunk guy, odds are you're probably not going to get bit by a rattlesnake. Your odds go up exponentially for being a guy. And if you're also drunk, then you're pretty much, it will seem like a good idea to see how close you can get to a rattlesnake.
crazy.
I don't know if those numbers were exactly right, but it was really close to that. And it just made me think of your lightning article. But a great segue into fitness.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, guys, this is just like the ultimate, examples of guy mentality. We can't get hurt. We're not afraid of things that we should be afraid of. We don't take precaution. We should take precaution. And a lot of times those things end up, they can be great little benefits, like our manliness, our go-to it. Like, if you're working out and trying to build some muscle, you're always going to push yourself and all that stuff. But I've fallen victim to this, where I've been running, training, and had like a knee injury where I'm like, oh yeah, you know what I should do? Take 4 weeks off, rest it up, ice it every day. And instead, I pushed through and keep running, and then the second half of the year is ruined because my knee's all jacked up. So, you know what? I mean, we all think we all want to stand out and finish our round of golf in lightning, but as it turns out, that's dumb. And so is continuing to exercise after you have an injury. It's just going to be worse for you in the long run.
Exactly. The article points out in the very next sentence, in other words, lightning mostly kills men because they think they're invincible and don't pay attention to common sense. So there you go. Just as you said. One weird thing from this article, kind of unrelated, is that lightning deaths have gone down. So in the year 1943, 432 people died as a result of lightning strikes. And last year, in 2013, it was only 23. So it's significantly dropped. So I don't know why that is, but
I bet you it's because people are much, much less likely to be out in wide open areas. We're more likely around tall buildings of some sort. Two, we have grounding rods and lightning rods and all kinds of other things that attract lightning more than us. And three, we have shelter. So, you know, if you were out in the middle of a field farming, then you were out in the middle of a field farming when a storm blew in. You know what I mean? You're
Yep.
screwed. Now, no one is outside of more than 50 feet from a building pretty much at any time. So,
All right. Right.
there's your answers.
Cool. All right. So how's it going in your fitness world? How's your half marathon training going and all that stuff?
Bad this week. It was a bad week. I started off good, and then uh, here was on my long run day, a middle of the week long run day. I had it's kind of a long story, but I guess I'll tell it anyway. So
Go
I'm
for it.
doing my backyard, and I have a pretty big backyard. So for the parts I need rock, I needed 91 tons of rock. And I had no idea really what 91 tons of rock looked like. So on Tuesday, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna have 25 tons delivered along with like the materials for me to put it down, and that way I'll know like kind of what I'm up against. And then I figured on Saturday I would have it all laid out, and I was gonna run a bobcat and hire some guys and stuff. So Tuesday afternoon it got delivered. I had to work that night, so I didn't do anything with it. Wednesday, I was going to start kind of working on getting the weed mat down and stuff, and there was a hail lightning storm thing here. It's pretty violent, so I didn't do anything. Thursday, I got home around 4 o'clock, and there was a note on my door from the police that said, "You must move this pile of rock immediately." As it turns out, 25 tons of rock is a pretty big pile. So big that it goes out from the curb all the way about halfway through a lane of the street. And,
Nice.
and I mean, granted, it's not like I live on a busy street. It's a suburb, little residential street, 20 miles an hour. But if two cars met up at the same time, they would have to have one go and then the other. And somebody called in a complaint to the police, which I never thought I'd be that guy, but apparently I'm that guy. And so then shortly thereafter, somebody from the city of Aurora knocked on my door, and I was like, oh man, I was like, they're like, hey, you got to move that rock. I was like, yeah, I just saw this note from the police that I should move it soon. He's like, yeah, you have till tomorrow morning to move that rock, or we're going to confiscate it. And I was like, oh, man. So instead of going for a run that night, I moved 25 tons. I tried to hire some guys and stuff. There's nobody around. So I called in my friends, and I literally moved 25 tons of rock. It took me about 6 hours. Was the hardest, like, most backbreaking work. It's terrible. But I got it done, 25 tons in one night. Which
Nice.
is nothing but a wheelbarrow. Well, actually, we ended up with 3 wheelbarrows and like 6 people. But I was
Nice.
the only one that was there from 4 to 10 moving rock. Everybody else was kind of in and out. And then the next day, I was so exhausted, and plus the whole life challenge was still going on. So I just did like a 10-minute workout the next day. And then also the whole life challenge, which I'm sure we'll segue into later, ended. So this weekend I did some drinking, and we did all kinds of stuff. So I never made up my runs, and I missed my Sunday run. So basically, it ended up a terrible training week for me.
Nice.
So no, terrible.
Hey, you should get some credit for the moving the rocks, right?
Yeah, that was certainly like I'm doing the Tough Mudder this year, and I was thinking about that after I was 5 hours into it. Like there was a point where I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this. Like literally. This is pushing the limit of what I can do as a human being, and and I was like, this is probably good Tough Mudder training because it's it's mental endurance at that point. You know what I mean? Like there was a point where because I didn't eat I skipped dinner, I just moved rock, just kept moving rock, and I did drink probably like 3 liters of water during that time, and I was still so dehydrated when I got done. It was terrible. It was a hot day and stuff too. So anyway. Yeah, there were other people that were there helping me that crashed out. Like, you know what I mean? They were there
All
for a
right.
portion of the time that I was doing it, and they were like, "All right, that's it, I'm done." I mean, I cannot literally can't pick up the wheelbarrow anymore. But I did make it all the way to the bitter end, so that was a good.
Right.
That made me feel like I was in pretty good shape. And for
Nice.
those of you that don't know what a Tough Mudder is, it's a mud run. So in other words, a run in the mountains with obstacles, pretty intense obstacles, and it's about a 13-mile, I guess, race. It's not really a race. It's more like you just have to complete it to say you did it because it's really tough. So that's one of the things I'll be doing this year.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
I man, speaking of mental toughness, and then we'll get back into the fitness thing here for a second. But oh man, I just dropped my wedding ring.
Wait, wedding ring? Okay,
Yeah.
got it. No,
did you I don't know if did you ever drop your wedding ring, like, or just
no,
anything like
never.
that? Okay. Well, I've noticed that when I do that, because I often like play with it or whatever, I notice when I do that, my wife gets really mad. She does not like it when I drop my wedding ring. I'm
Right.
like, we're like literally, if I lost that ring, I would love you no less. We would be no less married. But apparently, she does not want me to play with that ring.
Right.
So anyway, I'll find it later after the podcast. For now, ladies, I don't see a ring. Um, so I've been watching this show. All right, so there's this show that's on I think it's on the Discovery Channel or something. I don't know, but I've been watching it on Netflix, and I kind of got addicted to it for a little while. But it's called Surviving the Cut, and it's basically just they go to all these different like armed forces, like special forces things, and like show what their like like first 2 weeks of boot camp for that special forces is like, and like I watched like 3 or 4 episodes of it, and I was really into it for a while. But after like the fourth episode, I was like, all right, these are essentially all exactly the same. But the theory is always just like they do some crazy like 48-hour like workout or whatever, and like it gets the group down from like 300 to like 40 guys or whatever, and like in the course of 20 hours or whatever, and then they like ease back to training a little bit, and then that group goes for like a couple weeks, and then they have the final thing, which is like another like 2 day long crazy super wild like endurance thing and all this stuff like that. And they're at first their thing that they always say about it is always like, yeah, we have to do this because these guys are going to be in such extreme like circumstances that we like have to see how they like react to this kind of thing. And at first I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But after the fourth time, I was like, I don't know, this is really, they are really just torturing these guys, and I do not know. There has got to be a better way to find out, like if they're mentally tough enough or not. Then this is just crazy.
Right. Couldn't they just give them some kind of like really, really intense like psychological exam or something like that? A little battery
Yeah,
testing.
yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, it's just pretty crazy. Like the one, I think the first episode, I can't remember. I think it was the Armory Rangers maybe, but there was like a 1,000-pound log, and I think you had 8 guys on this 1,000-pound log, but they were just like doing this workout with this 1,000-pound log where they're just doing all this different stuff, lifting it and all this stuff, and it went on for like 4 hours. This workout with this 1,000-pound log, and then they'd have to go like get all their gear on and go like do like 15 miles through the woods or whatever, and they got to come back and do like another like 2 hour workout with this 1,000-pound log, and they basically just keep going like that for like 30 hours or something until like the majority of the guys are dropped out. Like
Wow.
that seems a little much.
Yeah. I
So
don't know. Yeah.
made me respect the elite armed forces, I guess. So
Have you ever done anything that's like tested you mentally like that?
no,
You know what I
definitely
mean?
not not like
Well,
that.
probably not like. Have you? Here's a question. Have you, especially like recently in your adult life, ever stayed up, like just like not even with all that crazy workout and stuff like that, but like stayed up, more than 30 hours consecutively?
More than 30 hours? I don't think so. Not in recent years at all. I don't think. How about you?
Yeah, huh? Yeah, I did. I recently, a few years ago, I did a night, and like I worked a night shift essentially, and so, and I had family and everything. So on the weekends, I wanted to, be on the daytime schedule with my family. So every Friday, let's see. So let me see if I can remember how it all worked. Yeah, it didn't work Friday night. So every Thursday night, I would get up, or Thursday morning, I guess, to my morning, would get up at about 2 p.m., 1 or 2 p.m. on Thursday. Then I would work all night on Friday, and then I would stay up until 10 p.m. on Friday night. So I would stay up a little more than 30 hours from Thursday till Friday night every week. So once a week, I would have a 30-hour day, and
Nice.
then crash on Friday night, and then wake up at a normal time on Saturday and Sunday, and then I would stay up also a very long time from Sunday morning until Monday morning because I would go to work that night. But it was mind-blowingly like tough to stay up that long and like mentally challenging. Although I did adapt to it and become much better at it by the end of doing it for a year. Uh, but then, and I thought I was all tough because I was like, you know what, I stay up like more than 30 hours, and I was like, a lot of people probably couldn't hack that. And then I talked to my next door neighbor who is a surgeon, and he told me he has worked some 72-hour shifts with no sleep,
Jeez.
which is also a little scary because he's performing surgeries. But
Right.
yeah, and like I can. So I mean, like I just wonder, like, and I'm sure to him staying up 30 hours is like nothing, like cake, and to me, staying up like 24 hours or something would be cake. So I mean, like I guess like I guess it's like that with everything mentally tough, and for fitness stuff too. Like a huge chunk of it is all mental. Like the first time, if you've never run and you go out to do a 1 mile run, it's like, man, a mile, that's a long way, blah, blah. I don't, it's like mentally a big deal to go run a mile. And then eventually, like, you're like, oh, running 5 miles, it's like nothing. It's just like, just a leisurely Saturday run.
All right.
And, and like, but it's all mental. Like, I mean, like, yeah, granted with running, there's some physical aspects to it too. You're going to get better at it and stuff like that. But, I think all fitness is kind of like that, where whatever you want to do, it's just the hardest thing you've done. Everything else is pretty easy.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've been thinking about this along the lines of like challenging myself and stuff like that. So I have a new goal that's going to be a long-term goal. So uh, and I think this is going to help me. I hope I'm not doing too long of a term goal. That I'm not gonna just let it go. But I got a plan in place. So anyway, so I'm doing this half marathon in September, and then uh, every September there's a race that's called the race to the top, and it's a race basically from the bottom of this mountain to this top of this mountain near me. It's a 14-mile race, basically up a mountain. And what's cool about it is it's the mountain that's featured in the novel that I wrote. And so like I'd be
Oh,
running
cool.
past all these different spots that were like basically scenes. I'd be like, oh, there's where that scene took place. So I really want to do it because like kind of, this spot means a lot to me and stuff, and I think it'd be a really cool challenge. So that's my goal, is 1 year from this September to do that race. So
Nice. It's a good goal. That's cool, man.
yeah. So I
That's
gotta. I'm sure I'm going to be stay motivated and do the half marathon this fall, but I got to find another interim thing to do, like in maybe December, January, somewhere in that time frame, to keep me motivated on my path towards doing that one next September.
sure. Oh yeah, at least you don't have winter there, so you can
Yeah.
run year round. So
Yep.
that's nice. But cool, man. Good goal. That's good one to stick to. That's tough. Like we have, in Colorado. I live in Colorado, and we have some races. I think there's both an uphill and downhill half.
Nice.
So like, there's one half that everybody runs in like 2 hours or whatever, or not
Right.
2 hours, in like an hour or whatever, because it's all downhill. And then there's another half I know that's like a straight uphill, and the hills are rather large in the Rocky Mountains. So you know what I mean? It's literally running up a mountain for 13 miles, which sounds. I'm not. It's not on my list of things to do at the
Right.
moment.
Right.
So, but I love
The,
yours. I don't know. It's cool.
yeah. The one benefit, I think, or one good thing that's going to help me, is that my neighborhood is like super hilly. So every time I go for a run in my neighborhood, I'm doing a lot of hill work. Although a lot of
Nice.
times, it's like for my Sunday run, my longest run of the week, I've been driving to a flatter area to do that. But I think that's all right. I'm gonna keep doing that and keep doing my shorter runs in the hillier neighborhood for now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah. So the whole life challenge is done. Are you back on on sweets and bread and drinking maple syrup
No,
and
but I haven't really like, okay. So drinking I've done on I didn't like I had a glass of wine last night, and on Saturday night I think, yeah, we had a barbecue on Saturday, so I had enough to be a little hungover on Sunday.
nice.
Anyhow, yeah, it had been I was like, man, I've been completely sober for 8 weeks now. That's just not right. So I had to have a couple drinks, and anyhow, but like no, I hadn't, I didn't have any bread today or anything like that. And actually, my biggest like grain that I've eaten so far was this morning. It was so cute. My son, he was like, "Dad, I made you breakfast. I know you can eat Cheerios again. I know you like Cheerios." So he made me,
Nice.
yeah, and like he had gotten, he had like literally climbed way up in the pantry where the cereal was at, and like gotten the cereal bowl and the milk and everything, and had all ready for me. And I was so cute, and I was so proud of him. So I had to eat
Yeah, you
that.
got to
But
eat that then.
I did, I had to. So,
Nice.
uh, but other than that, yeah, no, I still been going paleo.
Nice.
But I did have some cheese, stuff like that. So I've had a couple little things, but I'm not like I didn't go crazy. Didn't go grab a candy bar or anything.
Nice.
You?
Cool.
How you
Yeah.
how you coming
Yeah.
back?
Yeah, I went crazy.
Yeah, okay.
I got some ate some pizza the first day off, and
Nice. I bet it was delicious.
it's definitely delicious for sure. So I'm kind of taking it easy this week, through Friday, and then Saturday I'm gonna get back on the paleo bandwagon, I guess. See
Okay,
where
cool.
see where it takes me. So, yeah,
Cool,
good
cool.
times. I have another article that really freaked me out that I want to get your take on here. So this comes to us from Quartz.com. Never heard of them, but their website looks really fancy, so I'm sure they're a reputable source. Um, so they say a large review recently published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute confirms what we've been hearing for years. Sitting can be fatal. It's been linked to cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, et cetera, et cetera. It goes on to talk about, how the more you sit, the more your different types of cancers you're more prone to and stuff like that. But here's the part that freaked me out. So the really bad news, you can't exercise away the habit's harmful effects. Adjustment for physical activity did not affect the positive association between sedentary behavior and cancer, the authors of the study write. Even participants who achieved the daily recommended levels of physical activity were at the same risk as those who did not if they spent most of their days sitting. So this kind of scary.
That
I
is
have,
kind
a, I,
of
have,
scary.
I have a job where I sit all day, man. um, the article goes on to say that the good news is that you, by interrupting your sitting with short movement breaks or whatever, you can combat some of it. However, their short break is 4.5 minutes every half hour. So this is kind of a lot when you're
Yeah,
sitting there working all day. I can't when I'm in a 2-hour meeting with my boss just be like, I gotta get up for my 9 minutes of break this hour.
interesting. Yeah, I think that's probably super bad news for anybody in an office. I don't know if it's as bad for me because most of the sitting time I have is driving time. Driving
Mm,
from home to home and area to
gotcha.
area and all that stuff. And I don't know. I read a lot of contracts, but even then, I don't know. So what's too much sitting? Like, is it like I'm curious. Like, where's the negative effects come in? Do you have to sit for 2 consecutive hours? Does it have to be 6 hours out of an 8 hour period? I mean, obviously you got that 30-minute, 4-minute break thing. I'm curious.
Yes. I don't know. There's a lot of numbers in this article.
Lot of numbers.
Trying to scan
Might
through
have
and
to.
see here. Might have to read this and come back to it.
Yeah,
Um,
because technically we should both gotten up during this podcast already and walked around.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. All I'm really seeing is that when they say that you should uh, try to stand for 4 minutes for every 30 minutes of sitting.
Hmm.
So I don't know. But they have a lot of stuff about why that is. Basically, they're talk about in here how basically sitting sends harmful biological signals to your body. Like basically when you're standing, your muscles are engaged, and that like activates all kinds of good hormones and stuff like that in your body that totally keep you healthy. When you're sitting, it signals your body to deactivate all those hormones. So, as it says in this article, sitting is the new smoking, even for runners. So there you go. Bad news. Don't sit. I think I might have lost Jonathan. I'll try to get him back here. So that article comes from quartz.com. We'll put a link to that article in the show notes. So Jonathan may have been so freaked out by the sitting conversation that he got up and left. We're not sure. He could be back in 4.5 minutes, potentially. We will have to wait and see. So while Jonathan's not here, because I don't want to give him a big head, I don't want to, make him feel like he's he gets enough accolades. We don't need him to get a big head. So while he's gone, I'll go ahead and let you all know that. So the Whole Life Challenge we just got done with, as we said earlier, and Real Dad Fitness had a team for the Whole Life Challenge, a team consisting of 5 people, and coming in at first place was our very own Jonathan. Good job, Jonathan. He did great. Also doing wonderful was our very own self-proclaimed fat dad, Andy. He, maybe we'll have him on the podcast one of these times, but he lost 20 pounds and 4 inches. So good job. He's wearing a large T-shirt, which I was very impressed with. Good job. Good job, Andy. Yeah. So for me personally, I would like to do the Whole Life Challenge again to try and get the full benefits, because I did take a little time off the challenge when I went on my cruise and stuff like that. So I would like to try it again later. Oh, hey, we didn't even notice you were gone. Me and the listeners were having a nice conversation.
That's good. Way to cover. You and the listeners. Any listener comments or questions right now you can field?
No, we were just talking about the Whole Life Challenge, me and the listeners.
Okay.
We were saying that I wanted to cover while you were gone that you were the winner of the Whole Life Challenge Real Dad Fitness team, because I didn't want you to get a big head while you were here, so I decided to talk about it while you're gone. But good job to everyone on the team. Everyone on the team did great.
Absolutely.
I was saying that I was talking to Andy, and I guess he lost 20 pounds and like 4 inches doing the Whole Life Challenge. So
nice.
Good job, Andy. And he also said he's like got normal blood pressure for the first time in his life, or at least since high school or something.
That is amazing. I remember reading that on one of his posts during the Whole Life Challenge. So that's a big, that made it worth it right there. That's just like, that's where the Whole Life Challenge, and not just that, but just like health and fitness right there really is so clutch that if you just make little changes, in 8 weeks, you can drastically improve your health and well-being.
Right.
I mean, that was, it was cool to see that, among people we know, and even in our own lives. I think I know I saw it.
Yeah. For sure.
So way to go, Andy. I think Andy was the big winner. I give him props because he has changed, the most. I think I was, I won on points, and granted I'm super awesome, but he but he did awesome. He did amazing. I was really impressed with Andy. So.
Absolutely.
And you too, Mr. PT.
Thank you.
Did you measure your results at all?
I did. I didn't actually do the final exercise yet, so I got to do that stuff.
I didn't either. I haven't done it yet. So.
But as far as like, I lost 12 pounds and I lost like 2 inches off my waist. So no Andy style results, but still I'm happy with that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think I lost no weight, although I didn't reweigh myself or anything like that. But I assume I'm probably at the exact same weight I've always been at.
Right.
But I certainly toned up. Like I don't know what my percent body fat is. I wish I would have measured it prior to the competition. But you know how like when you get really, really like toned up and you're in really, really good shape and you can see like veins in your arms or whatever. You know what I mean? Like in your forearms, your muscles, biceps, and all that stuff. So like I now have a small enough percentage of body fat, which is probably pushing the limits of too low, that like on my stomach, like like on my abs, like you can actually see like the vein pop out if I like flex my abs. I was like, wow, that's probably a little too low on the body percent fat scale.
That's some high class problems right there too.
Yeah, that's so. But I do feel good about that. Feels good about I
Yeah.
mean, granted, nobody ever really sees me with my shirt off except me, but I'm like, oh yeah, six pack abs, that's cool.
Nice.
So making made me feel good.
Yeah, I think I may do the whole life challenge again in the fall, possibly, just because I took a week off this time, and I think that really messed me up because after that, I was never like quite as committed as I was before that, and I had some times where I failed and stuff like that. So I want to do it again and do it, full out, and not try to get a perfect score and everything like that. So
Yeah, after doing it this time around, like one, I would certainly do it again. I think the whole life challenge was awesome. The 8 weeks was actually I like by the end of the 8 weeks, it was kind of like hold like that very last week for me was like hold on to the finish line where I'd stopped caring quite as much as I had through the rest of the time. And honestly, it was only because I had a perfect score that I was like, you know what, I got to keep it up. I'm this close. I've gone this far. I want to finish with a perfect score and everything. But had it gone much longer, because it was kind of a good and bad thing. Like it just blended into part of your life. And then I stopped paying attention to it as much, and it just became, I don't know. And
right,
plus,
right.
like the parts where I didn't fail, like the way to get the perfect score, it got like it was an exercise in willpower in a lot of like big social events. And there was finally a point where I was like, whatever, it's a barbecue. I want to have
Right.
a beer at a barbecue or whatever. I want to just do it because my friends are doing. So, I made it through. I stayed true. Sorry, son's waving through me, but waving at me. But it was great. I'd totally do it again. And I think I would even, because it's not that big of a difference, but I think I would even go for like I did it on the intermediate level, which is pretty, like it doesn't sound bad because you say intermediate level, but man, the intermediate level is pretty hardcore. But I think if I did it again, I would go for the advanced level and just really commit to it.
Nice.
So
Cool. Good deal.
yeah,
All right. I have one final non-fitness question for you, and then we'll wrap up. Which is, I posted this on Facebook, so I got some answers already, but curious about your thoughts on this. So the other day I walked into a gas station, and a gas station near my house, not one I frequent though, and I was going to get some beer, and I just grabbed a six pack of whatever, and I was going up to the counter to pay, and all of a sudden I looked over and I noticed there's an entire wall of beer taps, like nice craft beers on tap. And I was like, "What is this? A gas station? What's going on here?" So I asked the guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we got these like they have those like growlers, those glass jugs, you know."
yeah, yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, you can just pick what you want, and we'll fill you up and send you home." And I was like, "This is the greatest day of my life. You are my new favorite gas station by far." So I took it home, and it was great. And I was like, "Man, is this a common thing?" So I asked on Facebook, and a lot of people were like, "Yeah, there's places around us where you can do it now, like gas stations though, or whatever." But apparently it seems to be kind of an East Coast thing. So a few East Coast friends, like in the Northeast and stuff, were like, "Yeah, that's really common at gas stations around here." So
Wow. Well, in Colorado, you can't even get beer at a gas station. It's like fake beer.
oh,
So they definitely do not have tap houses in gas stations here. We do have Colorado is I got to give a huge shout out for microbrews in Colorado. We have some amazing microbrews. We have a ton of tap houses, which are basically microbrews that serve no food, nothing else, just beer. You can bring in your own food if you want to them. So that's like a tap house, and all all kinds of different amazing craft beers. Yeah, a lot of great ones, like I said, downtown, down around in Denver. There's a good one out in Aurora. Some are becoming really big, like Dry Dock Breweries is in the town I live in. I can go there and hang out and have a beer, but you can actually probably buy it. I think they're nationwide now. A lot of good beers. But anyway, the growler is a common thing around here from a tap house, but
right, right.
definitely not in a gas station.
Sweet. Cool. All right. Hey, we should head down to Asheville, North Carolina sometime. That's their nickname of their town is Beer City, USA. I guess they have like the highest percentage of microbreweries per capita or whatever. And it's also like a super big like ultra running town. It's like they have a bunch of ultra marathons there, and like it's
Oh wow,
big ultra marathon spot. So
cool.
cool town. Me and my wife always say that we want to move there sometime when we're after our daughter graduates from high school and stuff like that. That would be a cool place to live.
Sure, it's like two of my favorite things.
Yeah,
You know, craft beer and running.
absolutely. All right, cool. Anything else before we wrap this bad boy up?
Nah, I think I'm good. I think hopefully we contributed something to the world over the last 45 minutes, and
Oh, we
yeah,
have. We definitely have. Don't if nothing else, just remember the slogan of the National Weather Society, which is if the thunder if the thunder roars, go indoors. That was their motto that they said in the men are idiots because they get struck by lightning thing. So.
right. And also in the from the movie Ted, remember, F you, lightning, you're just God's farce. So
Nice.
anyone that hasn't seen Ted, sorry, that reference was lost on you. And you should go see the movie Ted.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, this has been what do we call it? Real Dad Fitness, episode 15. Come to realdadfitness.com, and yeah, that'll do it for us. We will talk to you next time. This is PT. I gotta run.
And this is Jonathan. Stay real, stay fit, dads. See you later.